Thanks for sticking with us tonight. Well, the state of Michigan has its fair share of issues these days, from a corrupt election process to its draconian-style lockdown measures implemented by their governor, Gretchen Whitmer. But now, 3 Republican GOP representatives has called for Governor Whitmer's impeachment. And yesterday, one of them introduced House Resolution 324. Representative Lefebvre, Representative Maddock, and Representative Rendon have all claimed that Governor Whitmer has not done what's right for the state of Michigan for the past 8 months during the COVID lockdowns. Now, check this out. This is a tweet by Representative Beau Lefebvre from Michigan. Today, I introduce articles of impeachment against Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The 4 articles of impeachment against Whitmer include failing to respect the separation of powers by exercising power granted to the legislative branch, violating the Constitution. Yeah, that's kind of a big one there, isn't it? Now, we have a major update to a story that we brought you last night on the show. The 2 Republicans in the Wayne County Board of Directors have now rescinded their vote after Democrats were bullying them to side with them and certify the vote in that county. Monica Palmer and William Hartman signed affidavits late yesterday stating Wayne County should not certify. That's one of the biggest counties in the state of Michigan. It's where Detroit lies. Now, plus, the president even reached out to both of them to express his gratitude and support for their decision and bravery. However, due to the overwhelming issue in Wayne County, the Trump campaign said it will withdraw its lawsuit in the state of Michigan, but there are others still suing there, and so everything's still up for grabs in the state of Michigan. There is so much evidence of voter fraud, voter irregularity, and then election fraud and irregularities from their voting systems to board canvassers to poll workers that day giving instructions. You have postal workers talking about what supervisors told them to do that was illegal. There is a lot of fraud going on in the state of Michigan, folks. My next guest, no stranger to the swamp in D.C., nor to the problems in California. He was a United States Congressman for years, out for a brief moment, and then back again, winning re-election in California's 50th district. Please welcome to the show, Darrell Issa. Congressman, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. I've been waiting to chat with you. I've been a fan of yours for a while. I've lived in California on and off for about 14 years over the last 20 years. First, I want to say thank you for your service. I saw you served in the Army. And thanks for not going to D.C. to just try and suck off the taxpayer. You made all your money before and went there to make change. It's not like you tried to get rich off of us. So I wanted to thank you for that. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, and I spent 2 days back there. Didn't have to get an inoculation for anything in the swamp. I think for whatever reason, I've developed an immunity to the disease of Washington, D.C., but I am excited to go back. If what's going on continues, Nancy Pelosi will have only 6 or 7 seat majority, which means that the minority is going to be able to assert itself in a way that I think is going to make a big difference in this coming year.
Yeah, there's so many things I want to talk to you about that's happening in your state of California, and obviously what's happening right now with this election and the swamp. So let's begin with the swamp. The blue wave didn't happen. Darrell, it was supposed to happen. They were going to sweep the Senate, gain more seats in the House. Didn't happen. We're only now a few seats away, it looks like, right, from control in the House. I still think we'll hold the Senate just fine. You're in a district in Southern California that typically leans to the right, but I think you and other Republican candidates surprised a lot of folks out there in November, didn't you?
We did. Every poll had a statistical tie, in some cases even a point down for my seat. Also the same for the 2 seats in Orange County. For Mike Garcia's in L.A. and for David Valadao. And right now it looks like we're going to take all of those seats. And what's important about the 2 Orange County, the L.A., and the Kern County seats is every one of them was a seat that President Trump did not carry. So those voters had to make a decision, quite frankly, voting for Biden to then vote for a Republican. And I think they did so because of the excesses of Nancy Pelosi, because they saw that there needed to be some real balance that there wasn't in the House, and quite frankly, a little bit of buyer's remorse, because each of those seats we lost 2 years ago. And I think they didn't like the so-called new Democrats after they started voting to impeach the president.
Yeah, it really goes to the heart of this new radical left movement within the Democratic Party. You've got Democrat friends. I'm sure you've been in this game a long time. You have to just have it. I've been in news for a long time. I've got fellow journalists and show hosts who obviously are liberals. But I can still have a conversation with them, and then we end with, let's agree to disagree. You can't seem to do that anymore with this radical left, and it appears what happened in the House anyway, like with your seat, is people did, in fact, exactly what you said. They rebuked Nancy Pelosi and these older Democrat leaders who were not condemning, coming out strong enough and saying, this is not us. Our party is not out looting, rioting, killing people in the streets like we saw all year long during these lockdowns with the BLM and Antifa movements across the country. And that's probably why, to what you just said, the point you made, more Republicans won more House seats than expected.
Oh, absolutely. And, when we talk about the Democratic Party moving to the left, I'll just give you three examples that just occurred. A fairly moderate black Democrat, Lacey Clay, taken out in the primary. A strong pro-Israel Democrat in New York, Eliot Engel, taken out in the primary. These are what has been happening consistently. And so as you see that kind of a loss, what you're seeing is a loss of the center, at least on some issues of the party, even up in Minnesota, where we won a seat that had been held by Colin Peterson longer than my 18 years. He was one of the last blue dogs. So what you see is a hollowing out of the center of the Democratic Party. It does mean that we as Republicans have less people we can work with, but it also means that the lines that divide the center and right are favoring Republicans. Well, only the progressive and socialist really are popular with these new Democrats.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the importance of those two runoff Senate races down in Georgia. I'm sure you have lots of colleagues in the Senate from your many, many years when you were representing the 49th in Southern California. Express to our viewers out there the importance of making sure we win those two seats, because I'm sure you have heard out there online in the mainstream media already, there are rumors of trying to bus people or truck them in from California, whatever, but get folks down to Georgia to vote by January 5th to make sure that the Democrats can try and steal those two seats. This is very important that we hold on to the Senate.
You're exactly right. Nothing will balance a Biden administration, if that's what happens, more than a Senate who says, give us appointees that we can work with, not radical leftists. Elizabeth Warren will be a cabinet officer if, in fact, the Senate flips to the Democrats, and plenty of other even more liberal. The Secretary of State would undoubtedly be Susan Rice, the woman who went on television and told us all that Benghazi didn't really happen, that it was just a video. The list is endless of what will happen if we lose that balance. And quite candidly, a rollback of the sort of centrist pro-Constitution judges that President Trump has put in for 4 years, that would begin to erode very, very quickly. So there's a lot at stake. What's mostly at stake is the check and balance on the excesses of the House. Nancy Pelosi, or someone even more liberal, if that's possible, will control the House in January. If you add the Senate, you get a repeat of what President Obama did, ramming down on a purely partisan basis, things like Obamacare, the Green New Deal, Medicare for all. We're going to see that if you lose both of those seats. If we're able to hold one or both of those seats, then in fact what we get is a moderate, comparatively moderate government. But let's not kid ourselves. President Obama famously held up his pen and said, with the pen and the phone, effectively, I can do anything. So we are going to face that if President Biden and Harris move into the White House, because they are clearly going to begin doing massive executive orders. As a Californian, and you mentioned Michigan earlier, we've seen governors doing executive orders. And by the way, their ability to do them is child's play compared to what the White House can do.
You led right into my last question here. You're a California resident. We've been watching your hypocritical governor out in the Golden State, not so golden anymore, eating out to dinner, letting the kids go back to his private school, taking vacations to states like Montana and elsewhere this summer where the lockdowns weren't in place, so he could live a normal life, but telling his 38, 39 million residents, no, follow my rules or else. plus his little mea culpa this past week for about his restaurant incident, to me was, sorry, thin at best. Your opinion, you're a resident, on what's happening in California with these unconstitutional lockdowns that are literally destroying businesses and lives.
Well, the hypocrisy of what he did, in addition to his own restaurant up in Napa remaining open while others around the state were closed, tells you that what executive power can happen and how it can be abused. Very clearly, the left has used this as an opportunity, and it's extremely important that we push back at the federal level to stop states from these excesses. And if I can, I know you didn't ask the question, but let's not forget that in the coming weeks, the people of Israel, who are on the precipice of massive peace agreements, live in the real threat that the new administration will reinstitute a friendly relationship with Iran and undo so much of what has made that region safer over the last few years.
Oh, Darrell, you scared me. There's so much stuff of what if could happen if we see a Biden-Harris presidency, but the legal fight is far from over. So let's you and I and the rest of the conservatives out there just hold on to the faith. Let Giuliani and the legal team work their magic and use the Constitution, and hopefully we will have a different outcome than what the mainstream media is declaring.
And hold the Senate.
You got it. Hold the Senate. And I'll say this properly. Congressman-elect, since it's not official, right, as the vote been tallied in California or district, is it all, can I say Congressman?
My opponent has conceded, but it's interesting to be Congressman retired, Congressman-elect.
It's true.
And in between Congressman may not yet be the right term.
Mr. Issa, thank you so much for coming on Real America. We appreciate it. Straight ahead, wait until you see the meltdown New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo had when a reporter took him to task over his new lockdown regulations. Don't go away.